My name is Robert Christopher Wayne Weathers. I live at 3102 Center Hill Road, Edgar, Mississippi, 38841. I am under attack. People are driving worms through me from a remote location. I can also hear their voices. They're very hostile, negative. They constantly threaten me and my family. They are premeditating our deaths. They are trying to come up with some false narrative in which says I'm a bad person. It allows them the right to do this to me. And they claim to be preservation. This appears to be Scientology. So 13 years ago, I was assimilated into a hive mind. Some Scientologists became attracted to my psychology on Facebook. I was a political activist. We debated a lot about politics, the environment, even religion. I'm very good at it, extremely intelligent. I'm also an author. I write a lot of literature. I was also doing this on Facebook. So people decided to start practicing Scientology on me. They assimilated me into a hive mind. They installed technology in my brain that interfaced me to a computer with a whole bunch of other people. These people were media companies, marketing companies, radio DJs, social media, tech companies, big business, even the government. There was government officials there. So this is Humas and Preservation. These are the two companies which they claim to be. This technology allows them to assimilate us into a hive mind. It allows them to create surrogates, so to drive other organisms. It is a very complex technology. It has the ability to interface with our neurology on a very complex level. They can literally isolate neurons and thought patterns and stimulate these individual neurons anywhere in the brain. This technology also allows them to create a phone service. This technology also artificially induces their flow states, their neurochemistry. They artificially stimulate their neurochemistry. This is causing psychological issues within these people. They are psychotic, delusional, they have erratic behavior, they're irritable, jealous, greedy, machoistic, petty. Now, this technology could be explained using the knowledge we know, our current understanding, laws of physics. It could be a third dimensional nanotech, which I know does exist because I have it. But I've also experienced information or knowledge that allows us to exist that we don't, it is not common knowledge. It appears that the universe consists of more than three dimensions. There's extra space. There are 11 dimensions. And there's also an inverse. To me, it looks like inward expansion. Yes, I've seen it. It looks like it's inside of us. It looks like it's inside of all the particles in the universe. Imagine if all of the particles in the universe were to merge to create one object. This extra place appears to be inside of this object. There is no space in this place. They call it the inverse. We have biology in this extra place. We can't see it while we're alive, but it's there. We utilize this biology to have an afterlife. When we die, we move into this biology and cleave it off of ourselves and fly into outer space. And that's heaven. So Scientology is the practice of utilizing this extra dimensional biology before we die. They remove it from themselves while they're still among the living, and they utilize technology and techniques to turn it into a vehicle, an extra dimensional vehicle. A large percentage of the people practicing Scientology have become criminal. They do things like home invasion, stalking, trying to manipulate a person's environment, or they illegally stall technology in a person's brain in an attempt to control their behavior. They torture people, murder people, they rape people. They even have the ability to monitor a person's home illegally, and they break and enter too with their third dimensions. They, have, they use them as lookouts. They're extra upper dimensions. Invasion of privacy, intellectual property theft, extortion, embezzlement. Now, our third dimensions see time as linear. We see time passing with seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, so on and so forth. Time is not actually linear, it's simultaneous. The beginning and the end of the universe happen simultaneously. The past, the present, and the future all happen at the same time. On the inverse side, we can see this. It becomes apparent to us. We transcend time. We see the universe as one object, a static object. So these people can see the future. Our upper dimensionals also come with special abilities. We have 11 dimensional eyesight, and we can see down to the molecular level. We can see our biology's functioning on a molecular level. We can see our nervous system lighting up. We can see our brain tissue functioning. We can see blood flowing through us, particles flowing through us. These abilities are supposed to be to help organisms grow. We can manipulate DNA on the fly. I've literally seen them grow organisms with specific biological features, especially lesser life forms like worms. In ancient times, this technology was utilized to help life develop. On the inverse side, the human genome now produces an 11-dimensional organism with horns on our head. We are Nunukais. Humans weren't always Nunukais. Their predecessors or some external being turned us into that, or they grew us into that. They help us achieve that genetic structure. Now, in Scientology, they modify this extra dimensional biology. They like to cleave it among the dimensional lines. So every 3 dimensions, they'll cleave it, and they'll wind up with 3 or 4 biologies that they can utilize. They also modify their 11th dimension. They like to remove their horns and their myelin sheath, and they take on a more alien presence, a more alien form. I'm just cutting up an Unakai. Yeah, humans turn into little baby Anunakais when we die. We fly through outer space. That is what I've seen. Cooking right now. So, third dimensional humans are utilizing techniques and technology to access heaven before they die, the upper dimensions, or the inverse side of the universe. This is creating a conflict of interest which we have never before seen on Earth. Marketing companies are utilizing this technology to invade people's privacy. to also control a person's behavior. They can stimulate impulses and thought patterns and emotional states within human beings. They're doing this in an attempt to increase consumerism, to try to sell products to people. They can make you get excited or desire certain things. They can make you hungry, addicted, and they can read your thoughts and invade your privacy so they can gain information on you about the things that you like to buy, things that you do buy. The government is also utilizing this technology for surveillance purposes. The FBI and the CIA, the military is using this technology for surrogate making. They also like their phone service. My dad's calling. Yeah. Mukbang. I had to cook my dad some breakfast. I've received a lot of brain damage and organ damage. They hit my temporal lobe this morning, popped a blood vessel. So we are still connected to this biology even after it's removed from us. We still have to experience everything it and it still receives energy transfer. The Scientologists, They are addicted to surrogate making. They are stealing other people's biologies, other people's extra dimensions for surrogate making purposes. Turned into another organism in which they can drive, and they're using other people's body parts. They use body parts from humans and other species to do this. They make lizard people, bugs, insectoids, they make little aliens. It's fun. But this technology is inducing flow states in these people. I am seeing addictive behavior, and they treat this behavior as a job. It is their employment. Practicing Scientology on people, or helping people practice Scientology, or creating surrogates. So there's an institution that is trying to make money stealing body parts, helping people practice Scientology, and also installing technology in people, even within the public. They are addicted to it. This technology artificially elevates their neurochemistry, and I suspect many of them are abusing substances. But practicing Scientology and making surrogates is literally the act of removing body parts from people, or cutting on body parts, installing stuff. So they cut body parts to pieces and stick stuff inside of them, wire up their nervous system. It's a kind of a Dr. Kevorkian scenario. They have become acclimated to this or conditioned to do this sort of behavior. And they're developing a complex. It is criminal. It's violent in nature. We're seeing torture, mutilation, rape, murder towards a lot of people. And they traffic humans, weapons of mass destruction, assault with deadly weapons. They can drive worms, parasites. So worms, there are worms on Earth with big teeth, and they've also genetically engineered worms to act as weapons. They have poisoned me and my family with these worms in an attempt to torture me to death and steal my intellectual property. I wrote Crazy Bird Comics. I wrote the Environmental Creation Agency. I wrote Divine Currency. People have been stealing my ideas and works of literature for the last 13 years. Oh, I'm sick. They are torturing my biology in all dimensions. They have stolen my extra dimensional biology, and they've utilized some of it for surrogate purposes. They've utilized some of it for transplants. They literally use my own brain tissue and organs for their own transplant purposes. There's a few of them literally wearing my brain in their own head at this moment in an attempt to gain my intelligence. They've also attempted to turn me into a surrogate. I have been driven a few times. It's flat out driven, taking control of my whole biology. But most of the time, they try to influence my behavior or they try to stimulate my neurology. Now they got me wired up all different kinds of ways, my entire brain. They have witnessed me creating my intellectual property, writing my story. So they're all addicted to it. Some of them are. They want to utilize my brain to write. They want to experience it. Some of these Scientologists, that is the psychology that they have. They want to drive other people. They're treating this like a business. So they seek out people of interest, actors, famous people, models, politicians. They either help them practice Scientology, they steal body parts from these people, or they try to influence their behavior, especially in politics and big business and the government. They try to influence people's behavior, mind control. Technology affords them mind control. They have stolen my biology because I'm a famous person among rich people and the government. I have special abilities. I'm a tool maker. I used to make weapons for the military. I did that for several years. I had to quit as soon as this started because I became unfit for duty. I was very good at it though. People destroyed my life. Yes, the government is letting these people do it. Started out as assimilation, stealing intellectual property. It's turned into a snuff film, body snatching. Say they're manufacturing evidence to make it look like I'm a criminal, to make this look like some kind of policing activity. But they've been here for a very long time, way before any of these supposed crimes have happened, and they are assaulting me daily, over and over and over and over, without due process of the law. It's because they are conditioned to body snatch and to create surrogates and practice Scientology. There's literally the act of cutting on people and sticking stuff in our body parts. That's what they do for a living. And then some of them drive worms for a living, parasites. They call it vortex. They're trying to get rid of me for knowing too much. That's not my fault. The only reason I am explaining things to the public is because y'all are committing crimes against me and my family and the rest of the people in the world. My brain doesn't function properly anymore. They removed most of the feeling from it, from that and the rest of my nervous system. Scientology started doing this in the 70s. They never quit. They're trying to take over the planet. They literally install this technology in anybody and everybody. People with authority, especially big business and the government, says they're working on blood vessels. It's out of a phone service. They make me see things and hear things. It used to be more robust, and I actually used to be able to see the extra dimension every once in a while. So I've seen organisms running around, flying around, aliens, demons, mostly worms and bugs, insectoids and worms. That's what I've had most of my environment. Every once in a while, I get an alien or a Nunakai. I think whoever owns my biology owns the universe or something. See, I was created to serve a purpose, to save mankind, to save life on this planet. That's what my intellectual property does. It saves life on this planet. My name is Crazy Bird. Zenkala Wicca. I have Native American genetics and European genetics. So even if our biology is removed from us, we still have to experience everything it goes through. There's still some sort of entanglement properties between our biology, between our third dimensions and our extra dimensions. Say I drank some water in my third dimension. Water flows through my extra dimension and then it comes back or something. There's an energy transfer between the two biologies. My nervous system is stimulating in my third, then my nervous system is stimulating in my upper dimensions. They are torturing mine. They treat it like a voodoo doll. The parts that they're not using. They're trying to make me suffer in death. Send me to hell. Someone just said there's a humas and preservation. They house everybody's biology for surrogate making purposes, and they're creating a hive mind using this aspect of our reality. They have my most of my tech turned off right now, but they do. They can turn it on, stimulate my brain, make me see things, make me have thought patterns, make me say things in my mind. They're coming down. They're trying to do this to the whole world. Anybody and everybody gets their preservation. We don't function properly without our biologies attached to it. It's like the energy transfer needs to be instant. It needs to happen as a whole. I've experienced this, my biology being removed from me, especially my organs and brain tissue. You don't function properly anymore once it's removed. They have to use life saving techniques for you to function somewhat normally. It's not properly. So shit, we literally lose function when we take their biologies. We have to do nip tucks and stuff like that to get them to function properly, especially our organs. That's I'm sick. See, I need transplants. So someone else's biology. So I'm going to get someone else's energy transfer mixed up with mine. That's what they can't get their heads around. That's what they can't get around. Everybody's energy transfer all lumped together inside of their surrogate. These Scientologists have become addicted to this practice, removing body parts from people for surrogate making purposes, or to help them practice Scientology, or to just house them. There's a body farm on Earth where they sell these body parts for surrogates. And the more famous you are, or the more authority you have on Earth, the higher price your biologies bring. They have become addicted to torturing me and my family. They see how my biology works, how I'm still attached to it. They like to assault me in the third. They just like to take it away from me. They see our biologies or our body parts as commodities. They see it as a product, something you can buy or that you can take away from a person. They see it as something of value. They like to wire it up and stimulate it, especially our nervous system and our brains and our sexual organs. This hive mind, everybody's neurology and sexual activity is linked together. You can have sex with these people in a digital world where you can communicate with them, experience their emotions, their thought patterns. You can even feel their dopamine. They can feel our nervous system lighting up. Scientologists have gone crazy. They have brain damage. They're artificially stimulating neural tissue. They're abusing substances. They're conditioned to body snatch and mutilate biologies and sew them all back together. They're all Dr. Kevorkians. Scientology. Plus, they're utilizing this technology on the population, especially our people with authority, in an attempt to control their behavior. And they're claiming if they find me doing some kind of criminal activity, they can steal my body parts. They have a fake court system up here. They claim because they've seen me using drugs in the past. Most of my life, I've been under medical supervision, psychiatry, psych meds. Been sober for most of my life. I have used drugs some, not a lot. See, there's oh so bad. They're abusing substances rampantly, and they're artificially stimulating neural tissue. I'm bad sick. They torture me constantly. They're breaking the law. They're trying to get away with torture and murder, biological theft, weapons of mass destruction, home invasion, intellectual property theft. Oh, I'm sick. They removed nerves from my temporal lobe. Torture. One side of my brain feels like it's seizing out. That temporal lobe damage this morning. I'm gonna post this